Welcome to the ordinary meeting of the Finance and General Purposes Committee of Ramsgate Town Council. Item 1. Do we have any apologies?
We have apologies from Councillor Driver, who's unwell, Councillor Crittenden, who has a work commitment, and Councillor Hudson, who has a family commitment.
Item 2 is declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations? Thank you. Item 3 is previous minutes. To approve the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the Finance and General Purposes Committee held on the 9th of July.
Yeah.
Propose
Seconded.
true record? Yes.
Agreed.
Seconded. Councillor Hetherington. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 4 is the accounts and budgets. 4.1 is to receive and note the receipts and payments to the 28th of November 2025. Town Clerk, did you want to say anything about that?
Thank you, Chair. So this is receipts and payments to the 28th of November. On this occasion, I've not written an accompanying report because all my efforts were into the next item, which was the budget. But of course, if members have any questions about the income and expenditure to date, please do let me know.
Are we just asked to note it?
Yes, please.
All those in favour of noting it? Thank you. Item 4.2 is the draft 2026-2027 budget, which you will have received in your papers. The Town Clerk and I have put this together with the help from the Assistant Town Clerk and other RTC officers. We've not built this coming year's budget from scratch, but it is based on this year's experience to date. We are 2/3 way through this financial year, which allows us to judge whether the budget heads set in March 25 were appropriate. In building the 25-26 budget, we have applied a 4% increase to each budget head unless this year's experience or other factors have persuaded us to alter that. An exception to that are some of the Town Promotion Committee items where I suggested to the Chair of the Town Promotion Committee to be ambitious in our committee's requests, but not to be surprised if we had to cut some of them back. The Town Clerk has described in our budget report some of the other issues we have taken into account. You will see that all this results in a precept increase of between 5 and 6%. However, an expected increase in the Ramsgate Council tax base will mitigate some of this. Last year, the rise in the tax base was between 1 and 2%. But we won't know this figure until mid to late December. We will need to inform the TDC of our precept following our December the 16th council meeting. After that, the precept will be fixed, but we will still be able to via between budget heads if we need to during the year. Did you want to say something now, or do you want to move on to 2, which is your report?
May I note that TDC will require our precept actually at the beginning of February. So may I suggest that we have actually got longer and that actually our meeting on the 28th of January would be our final opportunity.
Final chance.
That's
Right,
it.
okay. So, the town clerk has written a report, 4.2, which she'll take us through.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, just to go through what you're looking at. You will have seen there's a report that's been generated in Scribe, our accounting software, which compares the draft budget figures with the current financial year, so you can see where there's a variation. However, what I found in practice when drafting the budget is that it's still much more useful to be working in an Excel spreadsheet where you can up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. And so you've also got this Excel spreadsheet where you've got a note against each budget as to whether it's just had a percentage increase or whether there's a different explanation behind the change, the variance. And then within this report, there's several items that I specifically wanted to bring your attention to, or possibly there's a decision required. So the first item in my report so the allotments. At the moment, the income that we receive from the allotment tenants does not cover the expenditure relating to the allotments. We receive approximately £22,000 from the allotment holders, and the expenditure is about £28,000. And that is excluding what is quite a traditional council way of doing things, is that staff are seen as a something else. But if you added the cost of the allotment officer into this, you would then be looking at increasing the allotment fees by 232%, taking the cost of a full plot from £88 a year to £204 a year. And then after I work that out, you could also consider, well, do you include the cost of technicians' time at the allotments? And the deputy town clerk at my time occasionally doing something relating to the allotments. The council has an obligation to provide allotments. It doesn't have an obligation to pay for allotments. So in an ideal world, the allotments would be a balanced budget, but you're asked to consider whether this is something that you'd like to move towards. What I am conscious of there at the moment is I think the allotment tenants are aware of the fact that they don't pay a lot. And most of there are some tenants who do ask to pay quarterly, as is their right. But I think that if there was any significant jump in the rent, it would give rise to a lot of thoughts along the lines of, they use a lot more water than me, or why that site has more expenditure than we do, why are we people will start to think a lot more about what is going into the allotments, whereas at the moment I think everyone understands that everything's split equally, and I think they're quite comfortable with that, but whilst the figures are low. So would you like to consider an increase in allotment rent in 2026-27?
Councillor Arbor.
Chair. It's a bit of a suicide issue to raise that up to that high figure you've just said. I mean, my view is that we should raise their level of fees in accordance with the rise in the precept, so whether it's 3% or whatever it is. So it is a small amount, because we will have so many problems if we do that. I think maybe that's something that 2027, and the new council that comes in should look at that. I think for us now, it's not a time for us to be digging a big hole and putting us in it. So I would definitely be against that. Yeah, unless
Your allotment.
yeah,
Are you going to propose that?
I will. Yeah.
So we'll write them a letter and say what their fee will be, but do we explain to them what it actually costs and how it's being subsidised by the ratepayers of Ramsgate? Do we say that to them?
I don't think we've done that in the past.
No.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, I think that would not be a bad idea at all, perhaps.
Yeah.
Tell them how lucky they are.
Because I think, Chair, if you don't mind me saying, is that we should, you know, at the end of the day, it should be cost effective in that we come out even from what we charge to what they're given. So, but I think that's got to be a gentle increase. Yeah, yeah.
But I tend to agree with you. Now's not the time to do it.
I'll propose. Well, I don't know if we're proposing anything. Are we? I mean,
Yeah.
we're just going through this to note this.
I propose,
Well, could I just, have there been some bigger expenditures this year on toilets or whatever that won't occur again? In the
move into,
Chemical toilets.
move into chemical toilets was expensive.
was expensive, and that won't be repeated, though there will be a cost,
That's a cost, that's a yearly cost.
a yearly cost. Yeah.
So, if you're going to propose it, then
I was going to propose that we increase it 4%.
yeah.
Might I suggest that we take up councillor Makinson's suggestion and set something out when we contact?
Proposing that?
Yes,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do that.
excellent.
The next item is the noting. It's regarding the basic parish allowance. The East Kent Joint Independent Remuneration Panel has yet to conclude the recommended basic parish allowance for 2026 to 2030. Currently, the sum payable is £600 per member. I've put a 10% increase in the budget, but I do not know what the outcome is going to be of those recommendations. The council can elect to forego the allowance or resolve to award a difference allowance altogether. However, I would suggest that sticking to the recommendations of the East Kent Joint Independent Remuneration Panel is transparent. It's taking the matter outside of your decision, and so it's something that's easy to kind of pin the decision upon. I have chased them to find out when the outcome is going to be known.
Chair, if I may, to say I absolutely agree with the town clerk. I think obviously we should note that there's 10% in there, but that can be changed once we get the figure in, and we should stick with that figure, as you quite rightly say. And it's done by an outside body. We've not taken control of that and said we want this. So, and I think that's the right way.
I agree. If you're proposing that,
I'll propose that, Chair.
I'll second it. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Next one is the Custom House sublets. Last week, a surveyor from Jeff Oliver and Associates undertook a rent review of the restaurant, who wish to start a new 3-year lease with us. It's a condition of our lease that our sublets are at market value. So we're waiting for the results of the rental review survey to inform how much in the restaurant they should be paying. I've no doubt that we'll have that information in time for January's F&GP meeting, but at the moment, that's an unknown figure that we're waiting for.
Okay. No decision on that.
Custom House and Radford House utility contracts. We've had difficulties with our utility provider, and at the last F&GP I reported that there was Radford House was experiencing very, very high electricity bills, and we didn't have an explanation for it. We've checked with our tenants, nobody's mining Bitcoin. Well, it seems that the electricity provider has now concluded that we're £8,000 in credit at Radford House, but we're possibly £5,000 in debt at the Custom House. I think it does make sense we've possibly been underpaying at the Custom House, but I think it's still a matter that where there's a problem. For the sake of budgeting, I've budgeted it at the worst case estimates of our utility provider, but I'm confident that once this is sorted out, it will be better than this.
Okay.
I've got no faith in our current provider at all. I mean,
I think, Chair, that chatting with Laura this morning and say, can we get out of this contract? I don't know whether they would charge us to come out of the contract. But I thought you can come out of these things, and so I think it's worth looking elsewhere. And Chair, if you agree with that, I think if we could look elsewhere to see, and we can still go as green as possible.
yeah. Do we not monitor our usage? Well, there's no excuse at all, is there?
If they think that there's a problem with our meter downstairs, and they've made 2 attempts to visit and check the meter. On the first occasion, they failed to attend because they couldn't park nearby. And on the second occasion, it was raining outside and we had the front door closed, but they didn't ring the bell and then just went away again.
You could make it up.
Oh dear.
Are they the same provider for both?
Yes.
And do we monitor Radford House as well?
Yes.
Well,
So if we can look into that, Chair,
yeah.
Leaving the contract early.
see what we can do.
So agreed.
Agreed.
The next item is the ward grants. So the ward grant has been £600 per year per member for many years. And the original thinking was that it was the same as the basic parish allowance that's payable to members. But that is a link that the council has chosen to make, and the council can choose to make a different, award a different amount. Given it's been £600 per year per member for a long time, you're just asked to consider, is this sum due a revision? Should this keep in line with the East Kent Joint Independent Remuneration Panel's recommendation for councillor allowances, or do something different?
I think they need to be separate. I think they need to remain separate, because there would be cases where perhaps we wouldn't put out the councillor's allowance up, but we would put and that's my thinking of it. I've thought about this today, and I was just thinking perhaps if we could increase the ward grant by £100 a year, because there's not a lot of great big things that we're spending it on, and it's then normally smaller things, picking for various groups and all those kind of things, and so I would propose that we've put it up by about by £100.
Second that.
Yeah, seconded. Do we all agree with that?
Agree.
Okay.
The next item is salaries.
Chance be a fine.
Yeah, it did.
And the salaries have had a notable jump. The reasoning is that I have budgeted for all staff to have a performance-related increment. This won't happen for everybody in practice, but I've budgeted for it. I've also budgeted for there to be a £1,400 increase for all staff as to be resolved by the National Joint Council for Local Government Services. This is an agreement, a negotiation that happens outside the council that we cannot influence.
The union bid
Yeah.
is £3,000 each. Just by the way,
Try that again, Brian?
the union's claim is an increase of £3,000 per member.
I can get that on.
Carry on, sorry.
Also, council has approved the appointment of a new project manager, fixed term, so that is included. Council has approved the separation of the roles of finance officer and deputy town clerk. A report including hours and benchmarking is currently being prepared by the local council consultancy service. At the present time, I know that I've estimated high on what these new salaries will be, but that is a reason why there's an increase. Also, I wanted to point out that the cost of salaries in the report is 466,000. National insurance contributions is 58,000, and local government pension contributions is 90,000. So it is notable, significant on costs with having staff. One thing, though, that I wasn't expecting is that our local government contributions have decreased to 19.2%. And this is where all the town and parish pension pot has been pulled. And all our previous paperwork suggested that ours would go up because there's a lot of town and parishes that were paying more than we did. So I thought we would go up in order to bring them down. But actually, as it turns out, we've gone down, which is saving about £6,000 a year. So you're asked to note this information and await the recommendations from the partial staffing review, which again I expect to be available for January's F&GP committee meeting.
Yeah, it's quite an increase, but it's a consequence of decisions council has already made about extra staff.
Yeah.
And as you know, staff is always a heavy cost anyway, so.
And as we go into local government reorganisation, we're going to need it.
Yeah, I propose no, Chair.
Is that seconded? Yeah.
Thank you. The next item is private security that was approved by the council last week. I had, for the budget, I'd estimated that, so the contract that was approved was for 6 months. I didn't expect Probe Security to be able to hit the ground running on the 1st of December. They did. But they did. So whereas I had estimated that we'd have 3.5 months of those 6 in this financial year and 2.5 in the next financial year, it's actually going to be 4 months this year, 2 months next year. So next year's can come down a bit. But members are asked to consider if a longer period of security cover should be budgeted for if the scheme is successful, or cross this bridge when we come to it in the new year. But what we're paying for at the moment, so 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, that would be 108,000 for a full year. But obviously it's hoped that possibly we can find other members to support us, if there organisations to support us if it was continuing.
Yeah, Chair, if I may, I think this is a really good thing that we're doing. Let's get that as a benefit for our shopkeepers, and it's a benefit for our residents.
They're delighted.
Yeah, I know they are, yeah. Just to say for those who met with the officers this morning, we had a bit of a photo shoot, and on Laura's mobile, but and we're going to put this press statement out.
Great.
And that'll be done. We've got anyway. I won't go into all of that at the moment, but I think what we should do, we should review this, review this in February, get it to come to F&GP, for a review. We are getting a weekly report from them, so all those will add up as the time goes by, and then see whether or not we've had value for money. But there is also the possibility, as Councillor Green will know, as being our representative on the, whatever it's called these days, Pride in Place, that obviously our residents' one of their main concerns was relating to antisocial behaviour, etc. So it may be that board decides that they might want to carry on with it instead of us. So I think there's a thing there that we need to look at, and then to see what comes back with that, and then we can make our mind up in February.
Anybody else wish to come? Yes.
I should have spoken up when we decided it, but I think it's probably more important that we have them in the summer with the longer evenings. Because I know there's trouble late at night, but there's no intention that these guys, this man and this woman, will be out there at midnight or 11 o'clock. But I know the feral youth will be out till 10 o'clock at night in the summer. So I just sort of think that's...
Yeah.
As someone who more or less lives in the town centre, so, yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Chair, if I may.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying,
it's
Councillor Makinson, but one, we have to think of the cost. So you can't have them during the day and then during the night as well, because we can't afford that. Not only that, the police will cover a major of that. Also, Probe cover the all bar one bars along here. They cover them at night, and I certainly haven't had any complaints in relation to antisocial behaviour down here from residents on my side, and I don't expect you have either. So I think that's that, but I understand what you're saying about in the town.
I mean, I think we've got to think about what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to achieve two things. I think one is to aid our shopkeepers, and they operate during the day in the main, and also by making the shoppers feel more secure in the town.
Absolutely. The nighttime economy, plus others coming out of woodwork.
Entirely different.
The two guys told me today that they think there's a lot of trouble later on, and I said, well, you're not, that's not you. You won't be here to do that, because we go stop at 6, don't we? 10 to 6?
I thought it was 12 till.
So it's times that we're not promoting.
Yes.
Very wise. But part of the 6-month trial is reliant on them informing us. It is about kind of shaping it to where it is the need. But I think this was primarily something to support the shops and the daytime economy. It wasn't taken to the council as intended to be something for the nighttime economy.
No,
but
I'm suggesting it would
yeah.
be ever, but it's just what raising to me today.
Councillor Austin.
We have in the past had a lot of problems with the nighttime economy. I'm not aware of it being nearly as bad as it used to be.
No.
But thinking about Councillor Makinson's suggestion about the summer, if we found that Probe Security are so responsive that they were able to get straight in on the 1st of December, then presumably, depending on how things go, if we decide later that we need more help further down the line, we could presumably go back to them and hope that they would be able to give us some short-term additional help over the summer period, as they did with Broadstairs. Would we not? Or is that unreasonable?
Perhaps we find some other source of money to help us.
Yes.
Chair, if I may, I think it's something that perhaps we need to speak with the shopkeepers about. It is their businesses that we're trying to support. I'm not saying that, you know, they're all going to be happy to put anything in, because it depends how much money they're making, doesn't it? But yeah, I think that's something to be looked at. But I think let's just do this six months, and then we'll say, I don't want to get.
Yes, no, I was just commenting on that.
Yeah.
Perhaps as well as the report from the firm, we could ask the chair of Ramsgate shopkeepers to give us their view.
Carry on.
Wednesday on.
On Wednesday.
Chair.
So as the town centre and tourism manager, I've given a statement to pass out to all the businesses, whether it's in WhatsApp groups, email, explaining the role of probe security and saying that we are going to want their input, and it likely will be February that we'll start to consult with them. But in the meantime, it is something that they are going to need to inform when considering whether it continues.
Great.
Good, well done. Is that agreed? Great.
The next item is capital projects and asset acquisition budget. Now, there are some circumstances when, if a council has a capital budget, it must only be for capital items. And this would be, for example, if we sold a capital item, we could then only use that money for future capital items. But this is a capital budget because that's what we chose to call it, and we can choose to do something different. The thinking behind this budget had been, we're going to start receiving assets from TDC, for example, the lift, and we're going to need money to repair and maintain and run and look after these assets. But as time is going by and these assets are not forthcoming quickly, our members are receptive to repurposing some of these funds. And in the draft budget, I have this, so it was 229,582, reduced it to 207,022 in order to cover the cost of private security. We can change that, but it was trying to get the budget as balanced as possible. Also, we've got quite a similarly named new projects including legal fees budget, which was previously miscellaneous budget. So it's whether, are you receptive to the idea that the capital projects and asset acquisition budget, the remit could be opened out past capital projects and possibly grouped in or merged with the new projects and legal fees budget to just have one. Yeah. It could be something like new projects and asset acquisition.
Yep.
No, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
No comments? No?
No.
Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And any other matters that members would like to suggest?
Councillor Austin.
I'm concerned about the reduction in the climate change budget, obviously.
In the what?
In the climate change task group budget. From 7,500 to 5,000. We'll spend every penny of what we have this year, and I don't understand why we would have less next year.
I didn't think we'd spent anything.
We have spent about a third of it, and we have commitments for the rest. And we talked about it at last week's meeting. Would be very unhappy to see
Put it back up then.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Back up.
That's good.
Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
At the moment, there's a £29,575 deficit. But where there's a few things that we're still awaiting external information, And the big thing is that we're not going to receive the updated tax base from TDC until it's usually just before Christmas. So may I suggest that we don't need to balance it tonight. Just be aware that there's still some information to come in. There is a deficit, but I think when we get the tax base figures, that will automatically find some of that extra money.
Could I ask, do you agree with the various increases in the town promotion budgets?
Yeah, on one, I have got I have got something to say, and I haven't been particularly happy about the violence that's taken place with town promotion within that. My view is that if you've got a budget, stick with your budget. Don't go over your budget. Don't look for money outside of your budget. If you want to borrow anything, borrow it from inside your budget. So something else would have to go from within that budget. I think it's important that we do that.
I think in general that's what they've done.
Well, I'm just.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to make it clear, the chair, that I think that's what we should do. Because we need to keep it,
yes,
how things are going, and we need to keep a tight grip on it. But apart from that, I think everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I mean, I think it has a huge impact on the town. Those various budgets.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
Are they agreed then?
I agree, Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to say something about reserves?
Yes. On the spreadsheet, you will have noticed that against the reserve budget, it looks like you've got an income and an expenditure, which are the same figure. It was basically where, with the reserves, they cancel each other out. So it was to say that, yes, we're going to have a budget of, say, 240,000 for general reserves. It's not going to come out of next year's precept. It's a figure that we're going to carry forward from this year.
Some of those reserves we've been in the habit of adding to, like for the elections and for custom house repairs. Are those additions in there?
So the only thing that is being topped up at the moment is the election expenses, and so this is where every 4 years it costs about £26,000 for a town council election. So split that cost and put so much aside each year.
Good.
And custom house repairs, should we be adding to that?
I've increased the amount. I've kept the sinking fund the same, but actually recommended that the maintenance in the repairs and maintenance in the year is higher.
Otherwise known as a Titanic fund, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a big unknown, which is Bradford House and housing the technicians. How much that, we don't know how much that is going to cost at the moment.
I think once we get the Bradford House thing through, hopefully a report coming next week for full council, then I will be proposing an amount that we don't go over, and then that amount will be stuck to. and then that will leave quite a bit still within the Bradford House budget, if you like, the money that's been put aside for that's there for whatever else that we decide as a council needs to be, what we want to do with Bradford House, whether that's staff or whatever, we can do that. So.
And are you expecting the technicians' accommodation to be within that?
Yeah, we're looking at that already. So we're looking at that, but that money, that extra, that bit, basically cut in half, if you like. That bit there, that can cover their accommodation. So whatever that budget, the whole budget that we had, that should completely cover everything in it.
Right, good.
And sorry, Chair, we're expecting to hear about that soon. Get that coming through to the next council.
There'll be a report. The town clerk's going to do a report to council next week.
16th of December meeting.
Yeah.
Is it next week or week after? In relation to what we want to do in relation to, because I want to get it moving New Year start, because it's going to take approximately a year to get done what we want to get done. I want to do that before election.
Yeah.
So that's within the, whatever it is, 960,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there'll be nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Yes.
Could I just ask about the highlighted items at the bottom and in the town promotion section, the anchor funding bit?
At January's Town Promotion Committee meeting, they're going to be reviewing how the anchor funding for Miss Ramsgate and Miss Carnival was administered.
Right.
And then making a recommendation as to whether to include it in next year's budget or not.
Okay.
So at the moment it's included, but it's subject to review.
Further discussion by the committee. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be able to alter this at full council if we think of something that
Yes.
we should alter. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Are we offline?
No, not yet.
We're still meeting.
The next item is item 5, Climate Change Task Group. To receive and note the Climate Change Task Group minutes of the 26th of November 25. Can we note them? And to receive a written report from Mr. Williams, Marketing and Communications Officer, and consider the recommendation contained therein to cap expenditure on the fruit tree initiative. Did you want to say something, Ken?
No, I mean, I think it's self-explanatory. It's just about the demand has gone through the roof, which is wonderful. But we've got to set a limit, because otherwise, both in terms of time and in terms of spend, to be able to manage the budget and to be able to manage the demand, because we can't cope with any more, very many more requests. We've already had 143, Dave told me.
Could you remind me what cap you were suggesting?
180, I think, was what we discussed.
183.
But actually, yes, we're not expecting that there will be.
That's a hell of a lot.
We're looking at more like 150. But it's more to do with the cut-off date as well.
Yeah, so we can budget with that.
Yes.
That's £2,000.
Yes, and then we get money back from residents on that, because people are putting £5 per tree in, and we're paying out 11.
Cool.
Apart from any residents who can't afford, we've had a couple last time who couldn't afford the £5 and we paid it for.
Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you. And that's brilliant news, I think.
Very. Thank you. Yes, it's 70 something last time, so it's double.
Then the final item is item 6, Project Manager, brackets, fixed term.
Done.
Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. So the council has approved the appointment of a project manager on a fixed term, approved the budget and the appointment in principle, and then delegated to this committee to approve the job description and person spec, and a draft of which are in front of you. Once approved, we can start advertising as soon as possible, but I think it would be an advert that would then need to run over Christmas and New Year, and then we'd interview in the New Year.
Within next year's budget.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. I'm just checking. Okay. Oh, great. Let's go.
And we approve the job spec and etc.
Yeah, I thought it was a great job description.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd quite like that job.
I was thinking that too when I read it. Yeah.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's all agreed. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
My apologies, I thought we'd finished before.
That's my fault.
Do you want to do that last?
Yeah, it's done that.